They never saw you coming.
Hello, I'm Michael.
And I'm Brandy.
And welcome to WrapYourHeadAround.com. And we are somewhere. Where are we?
We are at TeaCon 2011 in Chicago.
TeaCon 2011. And oh my goodness, look who's behind us. Who is that?
Well, it looked like Steven Crowder was back there, Dana Loesch.
Steven Crowder, Dana Loesch. We've got some pretty cool people here.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
It's going to be a good one. Stick with us. All right, so TeaCon 2011 is a two-day event. Last night was pretty awesome. We got a great performance from Steven Crowder. The guy's hilarious, and it was excellent. After that, Andrew Breitbart spoke. Andrew Breitbart, he's got about 1 billion different websites. He's the guy that breaks every sort of amazing story you can imagine. He exposes corruption. Great speech. So what have we had today so far?
Well, this morning we started breakfast with Dana Loesch, which was very interesting. Loved listening to her speak. Great speaker, great motivator, very inspiring. And then we had some breakout sessions. We were able to go to a few different breakout sessions and learn some things that we can do to help out with the Tea Party movement. And then after that we had lunch. We got to listen to Illinois Representative Joe Walsh, which was, oh my.
He was excellent. That guy is amazing. I've never really followed him because he's in Illinois. He's amazing.
Yeah, ditto. I agree. I was very moved by his speech and what he had to say. Great guy, and we're lucky to have had him elected into Congress, even though we're not from Illinois. And then right now we are currently waiting on Herman Cain, who was supposed to be here a little earlier today, but his flight was delayed because of bad weather. So that's going to be exciting. We should have some video of that. By the way, we'll have some video also, some video clips of Dana when she spoke.
We'll have some from Steven Crowder, Andrew Breitbart, and I asked a question to the presidential panel, which is going on right now, and we'll show you that here in a little bit. Kind of a follow-up to our Fox-Google debate question.
And then
comes Brandy's favorite of all.
I may have to be dragged away from the stage by security screaming because tonight during dinner we get to listen to Glenn Beck. He will be in the same room, my hero, the one who opened my eyes, the one who has motivated me the most, my hero. So excited about that.
I too am excited, although not quite to the extent of Brandy.
I don't think you can be any more excited than I am. It's going to be a great night.
Stay with us. It's going to be a good one.
But the left doesn't even have to try to make an argument. It doesn't. It really doesn't. It really doesn't. It's because of a thing that I call the Democrat media complex. It's the natural alliance of the Democratic Party, the mainstream media, and liberal interest groups. And you see it everywhere you go. In which you expose Cylinder and it's a slam dunk. Or if you expose Anthony Weiner and I'm being accused for 3 weeks of being a hacker. I don't even know how to turn on my computer. I'm pathetic. And I'm a hacker. An Acorn, in about 7 out of 8 or 9 offices, one office said no, but the rest said, when James O'Keefe went in with Hannah Giles and said, "Hi, I'm a pimp, she's a prostitute. We'd like to start an underage pimp and prostitute operation, a brothel as it were. But it's not your average brothel, it's with underage girls." It's not just underage girls, they're not here, they're here illegally from El Salvador. And in every office except for one, Acorn was like, "Okay, here's how we can help you get hooked up with government services and taxes."
Glad to be here. Folks, I gotta tell you, really, the only reason I'm here is because recently a job application of mine was declined by Acorn, so... To be fair, I did show up for the job interview dressed as a prostitute. They didn't have a problem with the hooker thing, they were just looking to go younger, so...
So we are here with Robert, and we heard him talking in one of our breakout sessions earlier. Robert, first tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from.
St. Louis.
St. Louis. And you're here in Chicago now?
Yeah, to go to school.
Going to school. What are you studying?
Economics and accounting.
Economics and accounting. Not my strong point. You were talking a little bit earlier in that breakout session about a problem in classes. Can you tell us a little bit about that and what's going on?
Well, the problem in the classroom is that, especially at the university level, is that teachers will start intimidating kids and like shredding the Constitution and pretty much, put a bunch of fear into people. And, kids don't want to speak up. They're afraid to speak up. They don't want to get, punished by having a lower grade or having, kids come on to them, give them trouble. So it's kind of a hard situation to really especially be a conservative in Chicago.
Yeah, I know when I was in college, I felt the same thing, but I never really had fear that I was getting a lower grade. My teachers just made fun of me and berated me. But you actually see the real repercussions of it.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on the teacher, and there's kids that speak up, and when they do that, the teachers will give them a hard time. Sometimes I've seen kids have to leave class because of it. It's upset them so much, and it's pretty awful what's going on.
Yeah, that's pretty ridiculous.
So, who initiates these conversations? Is it the professor who starts it, or is he saying something and a student just kind of brings it up, or how does it get started? Is it almost like it's a setup by the professor?
It gets started by the professor, and usually when they go on a rant, they really don't expect anyone to speak up against them because they're so forceful and speak down on a student that they don't expect anyone to stand up and, if they disagree with them. And I've heard some of the most ridiculous things. I've heard that our founding fathers only intended for the Constitution to last 25 years and a new Constitution should be rewritten every 25. I'm not joking. That it's only for rich white people. The military is only for white people. Minorities can't complain because it wasn't intended for them. And those are just a few of the things I've been taught. I'm not making any of this up. This is what goes on in the classroom. And they try to intimidate you, and they try to say basically what they do is try to build like you want security from the government and give up your rights, and they will tell you you're not going to make it through college. And when you get through college, you're probably not going to get a job, and there's going to be less and less and less job opportunities. And they're almost trying to scare you into having the government as a safe haven for them.
And their argument that you're not going to make it through college is based on economics, or what was that based on?
their logic, which is
Twisted.
I don't know. I tried to understand. I understand some of it, but you can't understand insanity. It's tough.
So have you personally said anything back to your professors?
I have in some of my classes, and some professors, are respectful about it, but they still talk down. Some of them will actually, pull you aside, and they'll try to, sweet talk you into trying to understand their point of view. Like somehow that if if there's a shortage of doctors, the problem is that education isn't free, and if society put more, money and means into it, then we'll have, and it's pretty much socialism.
And these are your economic professors?
No, my economic professors have been pretty good. Like when I went into more economic classes, definitely was not nearly as bad. You kind of have both ways, especially with macroeconomics. That's expect a little bit more liberalism, socialism, but in general, they're pretty good about it.
Wow. Did you want to ask a question? So I guess then the question is, what do you do about it, or what would you like to see done about this? I know you had asked the question in our breakout session, kind of how to combat that, and you talked to a couple people. I know you were talking with Dana Loesch out in the hall. Did she give you any helpful advice?
Yeah, she just said, keep going at it, don't get intimidated, because what you need to do is fight back, and they will get intimidated, and they will get louder, but you just have to step up.
Yeah, I wonder if there are any conservative student groups or anything like that, or if that could get started. Maybe that's something to think about. I don't know.
And I know we talked earlier about we're down in Indiana, so we're at the IU campus.
Right.
And their campus Republicans, typically about 15 people, they just had their call-out meeting, blew up 150, almost 200. The students are waking up. The students are taking up this movement, and you're a part of that movement. Dana's right. Keep at it. Keep at it.
Student-initiated group?
Yeah, student-initiated group, and keep at it. So, thank you very much for your time. It was great talking to you.
Thank you very much.
So, I do this every single day, fight media bias, and I tell you something too. We can't just change out our politicians. We can't just change out who the president's going to be and think that the scope of the country is going to change. Because politics is downstream from pop culture. And I know there's going to be a panel on this later, which I would highly encourage you guys to go to. But politics is downstream from pop culture. You have to change Americans before you change politics. Because it's still a reflection of us. That's why Massachusetts' idea of a Republican is somebody like Scott Brown. He's a Republican in Massachusetts. Where I come from, he's a Democrat. But you have to change the people. And this starts, there's two battlefronts. Arts and entertainment, because that's the vehicle through which messages are sent. And media. Because whatever is the headline for today is going to be written down in the history books tomorrow. And I want to make sure that when my kids are learning about what we are doing right now, that it's recorded accurately. And it takes not just me at Big Journalism, not just Andrew, not just Adam Sharp or different citizens. It takes an army of citizen journalists. If you have a phone that can connect to the internet, you can get a Twitter account. You can comment on newspaper articles online. I'm going to tell you something. It seems a lot of people go, I don't want to do that. This is so much work. It's better than sitting in the desert and eating MREs, which is a lot braver. And this is just a flash, just a matchstick flame compared to that. So if they can do that, we can do this.
In Canada, they always badmouth Americans too. When I was raised there, they think we care. Johnson, what's the status? Do Canadians like us today? When you think about it, the United States is kind of like the quarterback of the world, and Canada is really just like a special needs cheerleader. America, he's our man. If he can't do it, well, then we surrender, eh? And and Francis like, hey, you guys, I heard what's so there? Me too. I'm going to go bicycle to get my baguette. Of course, I had healthcare in Canada. I remember when I was raised there, the socialized healthcare system. You get liberals here who always, when they hear about that, like, oh my God, I hear you have great healthcare in Canada. You're like, yeah, well, it's not exactly. No, I hear you got great healthcare. Okay, you want a great healthcare plan in Canada? Don't get sick. That about covers all the pre-existing conditions. I have people here too like, well, I don't understand, you guys don't pay money for your drugs. I don't understand why I have to pay so much money for my drugs. Right, because drugs don't cost money to make. No, they come from a magical land of chocolate rivers and midgets on tricycles. A land where Nancy Pelosi and Al Gore spin recycled trash into golden yarn and insulin shots. Here's the way I look at it. If Richard Simmons can make hundreds of millions of dollars from Dance Your Pants Off Volume 4, the guy who gave us the polio vaccine deserves some loose change.
White hat.
My name is Michael from Spencer, Indiana. In the Fox-Google debate, there was a question that was asked about the 10th Amendment. It was the #1 question all the viewers voted on. That question was actually asked by myself and Brandy, who's still right here.
Let's give him a round.
Yeah. Great job. What Fox cut off was when we said this question is directed to all the candidates. They gave it to Ron Paul and basically softball pitched him a 10th Amendment question. I don't really care what Ron Paul has to say on the 10th Amendment because I already know where it stands on it. Why is the media, I mean, not only are they honing on and they're giving Perry and Romney all the time, but it also seems that they're protecting them. Why is that?
Well, I would start off by saying that, media, especially television, is entertainment. Whether you want to think of it that way or not, the mainstream media and television is based on entertainment value. The reason why people watch the news, the reason why you watch certain shows is for entertainment. And Romney versus Perry has been entertaining, and that's what they focused on. And I'm sorry that they cut your question off. I'm not really sure what the question was. Maybe you could repeat it for us so we know what the exact question was, even though I did see it during the debate. But that's why you have to kind of, what this new media, I think, has really come into play and why it's so important. Because the media does hone in on these candidates. They give Romney and Perry substantially more time in debates. I think, going back to the Bachmann initial question, Bachmann has fallen in the polls as well because she hasn't been given adequate time in debates to really state her case. I mean, she's been asked very few questions in the past couple debates, and that's really, you can't present your argument if you're not called on. So I think that I don't have an excuse for the media. There's nothing you can really do to control them. If it's entertaining, they're going to put it on. But I think investing in new media and educating yourself through other means of media is really the way to kind of get all of your information.
I'd say Harry's talked a lot about 10th Amendment issues. So, I mean, Harry's probably more of a known quantity, too, than Romney. I really would have really been interested to hear what Mitt Romney had to say about that question.
Yeah, well, he tries to talk about it in the context of Romney care.
Yeah, I know.
I want to say, I say this, both of my parents were reporters. I was a reporter. I ended up as a news anchor at one point. And I'm going to say this, and it gives me no joy to say this. In almost all respects, when it comes to questions of national policy, what I refer to as the libstream media, okay, is your enemy. And it must be read with a decoder ring. It must be read not as a source of information, but as a source of intelligence as to the thinking of your opponents. It has to be decoded because it is an expression of what our opponents in the public sphere want the public to understand. And I think that Fox News is a terrific antidote to that. But I think you should be skeptical about Fox. I think that the new media is a terrific antidote to that, but we all have to be skeptical about the new media. Because you're reading a blog, you like it, you don't know who's writing it, you don't really know who's writing it, So you're trading uncertainties as you move through the media landscape.
Unless you're reading townhall.com every day.
And hotair.com.
On hotair.com too.
And Hot Air every day.
But other than that,
You know exactly who's writing
I wanna
those
tell you,
blogs. My
that's-
boss would have killed
that's
me
your-
if I hadn't said that.
The polar
Not the
axis
best, I
of
promise.
new media exposure has got to be these two. But I just say that I'm prepared to believe a lot of, they don't want us to succeed. And they will take steps to make sure that we don't. And when you see the vitriol going at Herman Cain, understand that that's the vitriol that went at Sarah Palin. It's the vitriol that went at Clarence Thomas. If you're going to have our views and you're going to be effective, you are not going to get a free ride. Just ask Congressman Joe Walsh.
And one of the things that many of you all know about me is that I like to talk about how we fix stuff. We know what all of the crises are. How do we fix it? Well, let's start, well, we're going to do that too. Well, let's start with the biggest domestic one that we have. National security is an issue. It is a big issue because this nation is weaker as a result of this administration. And our other biggest one is this economic crisis that we face. Our economy is on life support. Our economy is on life support. It is not only an economic imperative, it is a national security imperative. Because if we do not get this economy growing the way it can grow, we're going to continue to argue over what to cut, when to cut it, and who to cut. I want to spend money to build up our defense, build up our intelligence capabilities, build up our strategic ballistic missile capability, not put a bullseye on the back of our defense department.
Herman Cain. It's tough not to like the guy. He eschews a button. But more importantly, it's tough not to respect a guy who's that successful in every aspect of his life. You're talking financially, his business, his political career, his relationships. Folks, I hear that he's got a smoking hot Chilean model at home. Apparently she's a 9, so.
It's called the 9-9-9 plan.
Logically, I think he's the only candidate we can run. I think statistically, he's the only one we can run because, you know, once you go black, or even half black. Is he here? Is he laughing if he's here? Dear God, I hope the possible future President of the United States is laughing. Otherwise, as soon as he gets into office, screw my 9-9-9 Chilean model, I want that boy audited.
I have to tell you, I was thinking about it today, that if you think about how long these people have worked for this moment, for decades they have been working to undermine everything in our country. Our education system, our economy, everything. They have plotted and planned, and then you show up. That these guys are professional organizers, that they have all the money in the world, and they can print more. And I gotta be honest with you. I mean, look at us. We're a bunch of slubs. And we're driving them out of their mind. The best thing for us to ever happen to the progressive movement is the fact that they just don't believe in the average American. Because they don't believe in you, they never saw you coming. And may I just say, just wait.
I remember, what was it, a few months after Barack Obama took office, we had the Detroit fire crotch bomber. Listen, I get that you're a terrorist, okay? You hate us, jihad, all that, right, okay. But if you're gonna blow up a place, Detroit? Really? Did you get the memo? Yeah, we're gonna take out a Bob's Big Boy and a couple of crack houses. If we're lucky, we'll hit someone's shanty. Yeah. I honestly think this guy was new to the whole terrorist game, and the older terrorists were just hazing him. No. It's very important, okay? You have to blow up Detroit. He's going to do it. For real, he's going to do it. Okay. One more thing. You have to put bomb right next to Wiener. That's the only thing. And that's the rules, not mine. You can't give a straight face. I can't do it. Why is it always me?
All right, so that is our show for tonight. We've had a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, Glenn Beck just walked off the stage. I just spent the last 3 hours in the same room with Glenn Beck. It was a good night.
She's very happy about Glenn Beck. He had a great speech, very inspiring. It was excellent. Herman Cain, that was my speech. That was mine for the night. It was great.
Yeah, I'll agree. Herman Cain was excellent too. He was amazing.
And by the way, he won the straw poll. 77.3% of the vote.
Yeah, it was huge.
Huge. Nobody got even remotely close to him. This was a big-time Herman Cain crowd, and that was awesome.
Yeah, because the Tea Party's racist.
Yeah.
That's why he won.
Yeah. So we thank you for joining us. Keep reading, keep listening, keep watching, keep educating yourself.
Good night.
Good night.
Call the 9